Where were the earliest known traces of wine found? Where were the earliest known traces of wine found? And not to sound like a scoop whoop article, but the answer may surprise you. Cue the music.
Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I am Vineet Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing.
All right, so welcome to episode 115. And because I'm doing the intro, you know there is a guest joining us, and it is a fan favorite. Berty Ashley, welcome back to Are You Quizzing Me? Thank you so much for doing this yet another time.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Glad to be back. And we are on a video podcast.
We are.
This is so cool.
Things have upgraded.
I can see that. I was like, why are you asking me to wear a new t-shirt and look nice? I was like, okay, cool.
No. You always look great. I just had to match up to that. But I must ask you, have people been surprised if they've only known your voice and then seen you?
Those surprises, yes, the two happen. But I'll tell you my favorite surprises is when a college or an educational institution, they only think of me as Berty Ashley, the quizmaster from the Hindu. And they invite me without checking up or even Googling me or even putting it on Google Images. And they expect an older, distinguished looking gentleman to arrive. And then I arrive on the scene and they're like, sir, are you his driver? Can you please ask him to come? I'm like, nope, that's me. It's happened twice, which is not much, but twice is a lot.
Interestingly enough, I had the reverse experience where I was the fan. And this was Amit Verma's Seen and the Unseen podcast. And he has spoken a lot of times about how he lives in Warsaw. And I used to live in Warsaw or nearby. And he has spoken about going to coffee shops. And I didn't realize the coffee shop that he was referring to was the one right next to my house. And I ended up there one day. And I remember hearing the voice. Because the voice is just iconic. He has this very deep voice. And it sounds like this very Rasputin kind of person with like a long beard talking.
Okay.
And in turn, I see this clean-shaven gentleman who looks, obviously is young as well, but also looks very sweet and somehow doesn't look like he'd have that deep a voice. And so I was just so surprised. It took me a few seconds and I went up to him and I asked him. And he's, as he himself claims, a little shy. And he was very humble, very sweet. And that was a lovely way to meet somebody I admired his work of. And it's just a funny thing to see, put a face to that person.
Well, for all of you, this is my fez, and those are my guitars. There you go.
Which one do you have a favorite?
Oh no, I won't tell you now.
You can't pick. They might hear. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Berty, since you are the guest, I'll let you take it with the first question.
What?
No. I know you like to riff off of what I said. So my audience question was about the first traces of wine. Where were they found in the world? And maybe that inspires you to your first question.
Okay, cool. So genuinely, as usual, I have not prepared anything and I was about to go full on with whatever you.
Lovely.
In Australia, right, there is a renewable energy source and they're trying to convert a waste material into source for growing biofuel.
Okay.
And they position themselves next to an important place where they can get the runoff and then convert that into electricity. Okay. So they are placed next to the biggest manufacturing source of a particular product. Basically, they are growing bacteria on this source, and that is fermenting or breaking down, decomposing whatever the sources, and then generating biogas, methane and fuel, which is then made into fuel and electricity and so on and so forth. So what product? And I need the specific product.
Even though my first instinct was to say something Australian like Vegemite, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I have tasted it once. It was not good.
Oh, very interesting. Oh, okay.
I didn't get the hype. Anyways, but since the segue is my hint as well, I'm assuming it has something to do with wine, and Australian wines are, I believe, popular. I'm not the biggest wine fanatic, so I'm not sure. But then Australian wines, something to do with the wine production part of Australia?
So that will be a direct segue, which will be very weird if I were to go for that. But I asked you for a specific product. If it's a wine, I would have asked you to name a wine. For example, in India, I would say Sula wines.
Got it.
Like that, I need a name of a particular product.
So then Australian alcohols in general, I don't know any specific brand that is Australian that I would.
A lot of people in the podcast who are right now, I know this answer.
That is every time I am posed with a question.
I'll give you a clue. There's a lovely Monty Python line. Okay, it's a giveaway. If I tell the line, it's a comedy, it's a punchline. If I tell you,
I got it. It's a Monty Python punchline and it would be a giveaway. So I won't ask you what it is.
I'll give you the startup. Let's see if you get 2 points. If you do the punchline and then get the answer. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, whatever. Dash, that's the alcohol, whatever. Okay. In your country, it's like making love in a canoe.
Is making love in a canoe.
Okay, yeah, it's like making love in a canoe.
I'm assuming it's not rhyming. I can't think of anything that rhymes with canoe.
No, it's a Monty Python line. So it's just pure punchline.
It's like making love in a canoe. Wine, beer in your canoe. But again, which kind of beer? Is it beer?
Yeah, exactly. Name a beer.
Australian beer, I don't know any.
Oh, really? Oh.
I should mention, I don't drink alcohol. So my knowledge of alcohol is limited.
Okay. Everybody watching this, listening to this, tell it. Yes, that's the one. Everybody just screamed Foster's at you.
Foster.
It is very infamous in Australia because just like making love in a canoe,
it is.
It's fucking close to water.
Oh, that is.
Apologies for the swear word, but it's not mine. I'm just quoting Monty Python.
Worth the explicit tag. I love it. Oh, Monty Python. They never disappoint. I like it.
This is a sketch called The Philosopher's Son, Bruce.
Okay, I love that so much.
Okay, so the fact is that there is a university setup place which is right next to the Foster's brewery, and they take all the Foster's runaway runoff and even the beer itself, right? And that because it's got so much malt and it's really heavy on fats, and it's a great medium to grow bacteria. It's a great medium to grow cultures, and that they grow and that they convert into electricity.
Okay, cool. And actually, that gives me a great segue as well, because you mentioned it's a university. Did you say that? Is that what you said?
I did.
So, I'm going to describe an institution, a place of higher studies, a place of study. And you have to tell me what this place of study is, okay? So, X, and I'm going by the description on their About Us page. X is open all year round in Reykjavik. For anybody who doesn't know, Reykjavik is the capital of Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
X is open all year round in Reykjavik. The school is 36 years old this year. What students in X gain and learn is both a big and summarized part of Iceland's history, as well as everything that is known about Y. They also hear some of the beautiful stories of true friendship between Icelanders and Y. The school is based on 2 major lectures by the headmaster of the school, Mr. Magnus Skarfedensson. Probably mispronouncing that name. Go check it out. Mr. Magnus Skarfedensson was born in 1955 and who studied history at the Icelandic University between 1985 and 1989. So this is the background of the main faculty at this school. And I also gave you a little bit of a description of who they are, how long they've been around, and what they do. Before I give you any other hints, do you want to tell me what this school is all about?
And you said it's only 36 years old. It's not too old, like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Iceland. And the university is about Iceland and its relationship with someone you said.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to say Vikings. It's a university of Vikings.
That would be amazing. And I imagine there are a lot of universities which offer, if not exactly Viking studies, something related to
Vikingology.
yeah, something like that is probably offered at other universities. What I can tell you is this particular field is probably very exclusive to this institution.
Interesting. Okay. It can't be this fairies or whatever, pixies or something, right? No, that's Ireland or Iceland?
You're very close. You're very close.
Oh, okay. Sprites. There's some paranormal thing which everybody thinks is mythical, but Iceland people are like, no. We got to learn how to deal with them and have a relationship with them so that we can have a good life.
Very, very close. I'm just going to prod you a little further till you get the exact, let's say, supernatural being in question.
Wait. Trolls.
Not trolls, no. That would also be a fun thing to study.
Fairies.
In some mythology, that would probably be considered a fairy as well. Maybe fairy is more of a generic word.
Elves.
Elves is what I was looking for. Very well done. Yes.
Icelandic elves.
So there is an elf school in Iceland where they teach you all about spotting elves and studying elves and the kind of interaction that Icelanders have had with elves over the years, apparently. So the true friendship between Icelanders and the elves and the hidden people. That's how they describe it. It's probably the only place in the world which does it in that context of come to Iceland, learn about elves, go spot an elf.
How many students do they have?
Well, that is an interesting question. I don't think it mentions how many school students have participated.
Because I think they should not go above 11.
Why 11 elves?
Because the German word for 11 is elf. Random multilingual
puns. I like it. The Wikipedia page does say, since opening the institution has welcomed more than 9,000 attendees, the majority of whom are foreign.
Of course.
So that is the elf school in Iceland. And if you're ever going to Iceland in the near future, go check out the elf school. I know I will. I would love to do that as well.
Do you want a random personal anecdote?
Always. Absolutely.
In Chennai, I used to work in a music school, Pavo School of Music. Shout out. And once we had a acoustic guitarist called Thor.
Okay.
Came all the way from Reykjavik. Okay. And this is the first time our man has stepped out of Iceland.
Oh, okay.
Ever in his life. And in Iceland, he used to live in a farm which is away from the city. Introvert, listens to only acoustic ethereal music. And the first place he lands, like he flies through Frankfurt, but that's just an airport and he's tired. The first place he lands is Chennai and he lands during Diwali. Okay. Comes out of the airport and oh my word, the noise that he was met with, which is we are normalized too. He couldn't, why the number of horns, the number of honking. He's like, what? Why are there so many people? I was like, you're still in the airport. You still haven't stepped out. And we're going to go to T Nagar because the host was like, let's show him shopping in Niche. He was so traumatized for 3 days. Then we went on Wikipedia. We saw that his entire country's population is less than T Nagar population in Chennai. He's never seen so many people in his life altogether of his 36 years of existence. He saw them in one day. Poor guy, man. So we had to slowly wean him home and then send him back.
I was in Georgia recently, and I have mentioned it on the previous podcast, so apologies for bringing it up again and again. But I was in Georgia, and I realized the entire population of that country is less than probably what lives in like Andheri, Santa Cruz, Ville Parle area of Mumbai. Like not even all of Mumbai. A little suburb area of Mumbai would probably have more population than that entire country. I can't imagine what it's like to like you said, like to see more people in a day than you have probably in your entire life. Yeah, that is insane. But I get that. I get that fear that Thor must have felt.
Okay, now that we have that interesting episode, I have my next segue, right? And I will take it from Iceland. I'm going to do it 2 ways. That is the Berty Ashley style of workoutable question or the general knowledge question. Okay. So first we'll ask the general knowledge question. Okay. Direct, either you know it or not. It's a boring question, but let's see. Maybe somebody on the podcast can figure it out. what is Mary Tharp, or what should Mary Tharp be famous for? This is the first question. MarieTharp. Now, does the name ring a bell?
No, not at all. Mary Tharp.
Okay. So this is one of those questions you'll ask in one of those quizzes where you're like, oh, I want to show off with. So, fine. Let's leave it. Okay. Now we'll go to my style of question. She's American, right? But here's an interesting thing. Iceland is the only place in the world where you can snorkel between two important things. And Mary Tharp was the woman who years and years back talked about it, and nobody else believed her because she was a
woman, obviously.
American. No, yes, correct, woman. And then later on it was proved because some other guy said it. The actual name, the term for it is given to that guy. They use a guy's name, obviously, so people don't know. But she's been saying about this for long. So what did she talk about? We entirely changed the way we think about the earth, one. And Iceland is generally the only place in the world where you can just snorkel, jump into the water and see this, and you have two examples.
Okay. I feel like I have seen both the underwater example of what you're saying on it's all reels, okay? I think I've seen people go into that space where you can see it, I believe. I think it's the plates, right? The plate tectonics that was perhaps proven because she saw the ridge between the two, the European plate and the, the North American plate, I guess.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
I saw the underwater example, and I think it's either Iceland or some other Nordic country where there's a supermarket that is in two continents, two different, I guess, plates simultaneously. And you can see that ridge going through the center of that supermarket also. I believe that's the answer then.
Absolutely. And so what is the thing that Mary Tharp figured out?
Plate tectonics, I guess?
Continental shift.
Continental shift. Okay.
Yeah, continents moved around and they used to be a big landmass before, and it's not. Yeah, so she was the one who actually started it. But then later on, people just decided no, because she's a woman, she wouldn't know it. So this is called the Silfra fissure. And generally, you don't even need scuba diving. You just put on your mask and just dive into the water. On one side is the North American ridge, and the other side is the European plate. And you can snorkel between two tectonic plates, but not for long, because obviously in a few thousand years, it's going to be pulling apart. It'll become a huge valley, or if there's maybe an earthquake or something, it can come together and it can close up. So, and this is the only place you can do it. Yeah.
Wow, that must be insane.
I have not gone there yet, and I want to. But there's an easier way to do something that is like this. Is if you go to Sharjah.
Okay.
There is a specific area where you can go, where the Earth's mantle has turned up. Instead of folding up and going over like this, it's folded around like this, and its bottom is exposed on top.
Okay.
So you can walk on top of the mantle and you can see the earliest fossils, but in the reverse order. You'll see the earliest on top. The earliest will be on top, the youngest will be at the bottom. It's very cool.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's called Mleha, Mleiha. That is the name of the place. There's a lovely museum there, Mleha Museum.
That's pretty cool. Sharjah is probably a lot more accessible than Iceland for most of us. So, well, great. At least there's something closer to home. I love that. Okay. Well, since you're talking about history in the chronological order, my segue goes from that. And I'm going to mention 4 works of art. Actually, I'm going to mention 3 works of art, 3 literary works, and you have to tell me what falls on the 4th one in that list. Okay?
Okay.
The first one is an Italian novella by Matteo Bandello. Matteo Bandello himself was an Italian writer, soldier, Dominican friar, and bishop. and he was known for his novellas. Okay, so he was probably the most popular short story writer of his day. The Italian novella by Matteo Bandello. He lived between 1480 and 1562.
Okay.
So the next in line, the first one was the Italian novella. The second one in line is a French story. The French story is by Pierre Boyastuau. Boyastuau? Or not sure. He lived between 1517 to 1566. Lived in Paris. He was a French Renaissance humanist writer, author of a number of popularizing compilations and discourses on various subjects. One of his works, one of his stories, is the second in the list. So first one was the Italian guy, second one is this French guy. Okay?
Okay.
The third one is an English language narrative poem. This one was first published in 1562, and the poem is by Arthur Brooke. Arthur Brooke, again an English poet who wrote and created various works. It was around in that area. 1562 is when his work was published, the work that is specifically in question over here. One more time. Italian novella, a French story, an English language narrative poem. What is the fourth in this list? And the list is connected by the very simple idea that they are all inspired by the previous work. So the novella came, and then there was a French story inspired by it. The English language narrative poem was inspired by it. And the fourth literary work was inspired by the English language narrative poem.
Okay.
Which one is the fourth in the list?
Oh, man. Okay. And you haven't told me anything about the content of the works.
No, I have not told you the contents yet.
Okay, let's just say for the timing and the fact that you're asking this, I would say William Shakespeare is the dude we are looking for, and something he wrote which is inspired, because our man was known for being inspired. So is it Billy Shakespeare that we're looking at?
Oh God, Stratford upon Avon. It is, yes, it is William Shakespeare.
Okay. So what did Billy take from? Okay, let me ask you, did it inspire the Lion King?
No, it did not inspire the Lion King.
So it's not Hamlet.
I'll give you a hint. Well, it's a useless hint to say that this particular work, and it's one of his most famous works, has inspired a lot of other films and plays and movies and everything in the trend.
No. This I will not accept. This will not accept. So, as a big fan of Hamlet, I think that is his greatest work. Okay, to be or not to be, that is it.
I didn't say his greatest work. I said one of his greatest.
So for me, it's always Hamlet. I can, okay, to count yourself, to be in a nutshell and count yourself Prince of the Universe and all, Hamlet. Now, I'm guessing because it's Italian and French, all of this stuff, and it's a poem, it has to be about lovers, and it has to be about tragedy and all that kind of stuff, I'm guessing. So if that is the case, then the most famous one is Romeo and Juliet.
And you would be correct. You are right. The story of Romeo and Juliet is based in Verona, which is Italian. So I think that's where the inspiration first came from. Italy, went to France, came to English language narrative poem, and then became Romeo and Juliet.
Shakespeare never left London.
He never did. Yeah, I know.
How do you think he knows so much about Verona?
Because he was inspired.
Do you want to be part of a secret conspiracy cabal?
I've heard there was a novel I read many years ago about the Shakespeare secret or something it was called. But how basically Shakespeare didn't write all of his works, and like there were a bunch of writers.
No. We're not talking about.
Oh no, not that. Okay.
No, we're not talking about Kit Marlowe. We're not doing all that. Okay. Right? So Giordano Bruno was from Verona. He was one of the greatest polymaths of all time. He was the very first person who went against the church and told them, "Hey guys, shut up! The Earth is not the center of the universe. The sun is the center of the solar system, all that stuff." And when they said, "How do you know?" He knows the firmaments of the heaven opened up to me. They're like, "No, blasphemy! He thinks he's God. Let's kill him," and all that kind of stuff. Right? And he escaped to London for some time, and he was hanging out with Shakespeare. And apparently, he's the one who told Shakespeare about Verona and told him, "Macha, you should come home. Da. My city is so beautiful." Lovely place, it is, all that kind of stuff. And then Queen Liz first was like, "Oh, something's going on, let's get going." So our man went back to Italy, where the church got him and finally set him on. Yeah, they obviously got rid of him because he was telling the truth.
I love that conspiracy theory. I'm on board with that.
Yes.
And also, I love how every historical character in your stories always speaks like they are from Nangalanur. Or Kormangla.
All of them. Bro, what are you putting, bro? Come, let's go, bro.
Come, bro.
You know,
We'll send one.
we'll send one.
I did not even know sending one was a euphemism for smoking up.
Yeah.
Somebody, I am almost sometimes embarrassed to admit I don't do all of these things. I don't drink, I don't smoke up, I don't smoke. So I feel like a big noob when it comes to all of it. And then I think somebody mentioned it once, and I really genuinely for a while was like, what are they sending?
Do you have to send a message? Do I have to like send a signal?
Yeah. Bro, let's go send one, bro. Do you want to send one right now? And it was so confusing.
Machan, don't put scene, da. Come. We'll send it, no. And you, as a fan of the improv, will be like, put scene. Of course, I am end scene.
I'm always putting scene. That's my job. I am putting scene. Oh my god! Today I came across this will probably be edited out, but I came across this very interesting description of the natural language generation programs, all of your chatbots that are famous right now, your ChatGPT or Gemini. And somebody compared them to an improv artist. How whatever you say, they are programmed to yes and.
Yes and.
Yeah, and they reinforce your belief. They'll also not just reinforce it; they'll praise you for it. They'll be like, "Oh my god, that's such a smart idea. That's such a thoughtful response."
Such a great question. Wow, wonderful.
And it's insane to me when they put it in that perspective, because I'm like, then I know what I can use ChatGPT for. I can use to riff off of crazy ideas, but I should at no point take it for like solid fact without at least double checking it, because you don't come to an improv show and take it as like, oh, whatever they're saying makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, Jane Ostentatious is really good. They're very historical. No, dude, they're not.
Exactly, yeah.
That is so cool. That is so cool, dude. Yeah.
They're constantly ascending you, so be mindful of. And it's led to some very sad, tragic stories. There was a New York Times podcast about it. So if you're interested, go check that out. Like, I think it came out yesterday. But yeah, this is an unfortunate parallel between what I love to do and what I'm quite scared of, improv and ChatGPT. Okay, but coming back to the question, very well cracked. It is Romeo and Juliet. Lovely how you cracked that. I'm very, very impressed. I was going to give you a few more hints. The Tragical History of Romeo and Juliet is the English language narrative poem by Arthur and Brooke.
Oh, he didn't change the name also.
Literally, Romeo and Juliet became Romeo and Juliet. That is how it blew my mind that there is a work of literature that is called Tragical History of Romeo and Juliet, and somehow it is never mentioned even in the context of Romeo and Juliet.
Man just basically remixed it. That's it.
Yes, feat Shakespeare. And this was a translation and adaptation of the French story, which was derived from the Italian novella. And Arthur Brooke published it in 1562 for the first time. So pretty soon thereafter, William Shakespeare's work came out. The difference between the poem and Shakespeare's work is that the ending is slightly different. The nurse is banished and the apothecary is hanged for their involvement in the deception. And the Friar Lawrence leaves Verona to end his days in a hermitage. So that's the minor difference, but I feel like most of the story is the same. The Tragical History of Romeo and Juliet.
Interesting. Okay. I have a quick segue question from it. Okay. Where is or under which, again, it's out of my top of my mind, so I have to phrase this rightly. Under which circumstance or in what context is the only time where Juliet is spelled with 2 T's?
Oh, wow. Well, that is a solid segue, Bertie. I'm very impressed. This is Juliet.
Yes! Yes!
Juliet in the play, or are you saying in the world in general, when is Juliet spelled with 2 T's?
Yeah, in the world.
So I'm assuming the spelling is Juliette. Is there an E at the end, or is it just...
No. Juliette. That's it.
Can I check? Is this something to do with Shakespeare, or is it just?
It is to do with Shakespeare because the name was taken because it's famous because of Shakespeare. But it's got nothing to do with as an usage of Shakespeare.
In what context is it ever spelled with double T?
See, because obviously there'll be somebody who spells their name differently and all that kind of stuff. But this is worldwide.
Worldwide context. So I'm guessing it isn't a name because again, names have very varied spellings across the board.
It is a name. It's not one weird acronym or anything. Good thinking. You're thinking of it's an acronym, right?
Yeah.
It is the name Juliette. I can give you a clue.
I think I need the clue.
In the same context, India is the only country.
Oh, the NATO alphabet. Juliet is double T?
Yes. Now tell me why.
Oh, I have to tell you the why also. Okay, that makes a lot more sense because I was just like, why would you put a double T there?
Think of what we have been doing so far or what you have been doing so far in the quiz.
Speaking. So I'm assuming it has to do with different accents.
Go on.
The French might not pronounce it if it was a single T or something.
What would they call it?
Juliette, or something like that.
Perfect. That's it. You have landed.
Okay.
So Juliet, as Shakespeare would have written it, we pronounce as Juliette.
Okay.
But if you show to a Frenchman, he would say Juliette.
Juliette, of course, yeah.
And so in the NATO alphabet, it's very important that all of it has to be spelled the same way by everyone around the world.
Right.
So by putting an extra T on it, the French guys will say Juliette. In grammar, you have to pronounce a T if there's a double T on it. So that's why only the NATO alphabet is Julitt.
I guess I never consciously thought about it, but I assume a lot of the words are chosen such that they are pronounced similarly across accents, or at least there isn't too much of a variation. That is very smart. Now that I say it out loud, it makes sense, obviously. So, the Romeo is also in it.
Yeah. Both. Exactly.
A pretty cool question. I liked it. Juliette.
Thank you.
I would have never thought of why. The why makes it interesting.
I'm glad.
And that gives me a segue as well. My question has to do with a historical figure. Let's call him X.
Malcolm X.
No, I was talking about Charles Xavier.
Damn it.
Okay. So X is a famous historical figure. And the reason it's a segue is because X apparently, and there is some corroboration to this fact, X spoke English with an Irish accent. And it just makes it interesting because, as you would have gathered already, that this person was not English or Irish. And so the fact that this person spoke English with an Irish accent just adds to the myth around this individual. The other part of this question actually has to do with his siblings. And all of his siblings were famous to some extent. His oldest sibling is Anna. And she was famous as a revolutionary and a politician. The second sibling was Alexander, also again a revolutionary, a political activist, and who was eventually executed for planning an assassination. The third one is X in question. The fourth one is Olga. So you might have a sense of where this person might be. So I've told you Anna, Alexander, then X himself, and then Olga. Olga was a noblewoman, a polyglot, and was influential socially, I guess. The fifth one is Dmitri. Dmitri was a physician and revolutionary. Was also a medical student and while as a medical student, became involved with revolutionary activity and joined an illegal society and was arrested also shortly thereafter. Then the last one of the siblings, Maria, again a revolutionary, a politician, and did some political work in her lifetime. So tell me who this person is who comes from a family of influential people, all siblings who are of some note, and he himself spoke English with an Irish accent.
Okay. For some reason, I can only think of one person because of multiple things that are coming together. But also, I'm heavily biased in thinking about him because let's see. Is it by any chance Napoleon Bonaparte?
Ooh, very good guess, but no, not Napoleon Bonaparte.
Because I kept thinking of him. Right. Okay, so it's not Napoleon. For anything historic during that time, I would say Napoleon Bonaparte. So it sounds like they're all Russian.
Russian is a pretty solid guess. Yes, they are all Russian.
And everybody's got some political influence. And did a man have political notoriety, or is he famous in some other context?
Mostly for politics, yes. The apple did not fall too far.
But not direct political. That's what my point is. It's not like he was holding a position.
Oh, no, very directly political. He's known for his politics.
But what? He spoke English with an Irish accent. That is so weird.
That to me was very interesting. Okay. You know what? Before, unless you have an answer, let me give you another clue. So the clue is, and this should hopefully place where, because I've not mentioned any time frame yet, this should help you place it somewhere in history. There are, like I said, a few corroborations to this particular fact. One of them is in an article written by the famous author H.G. Wells, the writer of War of the Worlds, for any of us out there who love our science fiction. So H.G. Wells wrote War of the Worlds. He wrote an article in which he documented this, apparently, because he met X in Moscow in 1920 and noticed his Irish accent.
1920.
Yes.
This was before he became super important in Russian. Okay, I'm going for the most obvious Russian name from that era. Vladimir Lenin.
Vladimir Lenin is the answer. Yes, it is Vladimir Lenin.
Why the hell does he have an Irish accent?
That is what the most interesting part of this question was to me. That apparently whenever he came to London, he wanted to work on his English and he happened to hire an Irish tutor. So, instead of talking like every other English person would, he was speaking like an Irish person would speak English.
That is so cool. That is so.
Yeah. So Vladimir Lenin, when he spoke, it just puts that man in perspective somehow, or everything else you might know about him. This is a random piece of trivia. He spoke English with an Irish accent.
Irish accent. Very nice.
Just another piece of trivia from the same article, which says that Lenin wrote about his experience that when he visited Ireland, he tasted one of the most tasteful wines that he has ever had. Going back to our audience question, in case somebody in the audience has cracked it, where was the first wine ever found? Traces of wine were ever found in history.
And it should surprise you.
It should surprise you. Lenin thought Irish wines were great. So, Berty, your question.
Okay, cool. So, talking about the Russians, I have my next segue. Now, the most famous Russian, you can say, oh, those Russians. Who do you think I'm talking about?
It has to be Rasputin.
Exactly. You can't just say Rasputin. You have to say Rasputin. Thank you, Boniem. Right. So, follow me down the rabbit hole. Prince Alexei, who's the son of the Tsar and Tsarina, he suffers from a genetic condition, a disorder that comes because of genetic inbreeding, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And his condition is worsening day by day. Rasputin comes in and he has mystical powers and he tells them, stop the medicine. I will take care of him with my spiritual powers. And Tsar and Tsarina are like, but these doctors have been taking care of him for like so long. But he's like, yeah, but he's getting worse. Tell the doctors to go away. Stop everything that they're giving him. I am on it.
Okay.
And miraculously, it works. The prince gets better, right? And the Tsar and Tsarina is like indebted to Rasputin for life. And she's like, oh my God, this guy saved not only my son, but the dynasty. And this led to a lot of infighting because Rasputin grew with power. Like rest of the people thought Rasputin was feeding something into the king, into the Tsar, and all kind of stuff. And that led to a lot of problems. That led to the assassination attempts of Rasputin. And then eventually the entire downfall of the Tsar dynasty itself. Which eventually led to the formation of the first United Soviet Socialist Republic and everything. So Russia as such, the superpower it is because of Rasputin and what he did there. Now, here is my question. What was the prince suffering from? Okay. And what single tablet which was being given to the kid, did Rasputin get them to stop? That led to all of this. So, what was the disease and what was the tablet that brought down the fall of the Russian Tsar dynasty?
So Rasputin asked the rulers to stop giving whatever medicine was being prescribed and in exchange he was going to cure him with his magical powers.
And it worked.
Because you said it's a genetic condition, I can't be too sure. Two things I know that happened because of inbreeding is the jaws that these guys are very famous for. Some European royalty is famous for. I think it is the British monarchy only which is famous for having very weak jaws.
Yeah.
And the other one, I believe, is hemophilia. I think that is another thing that happens to...
Yes, hemophilia is right. Yeah, do you know what happens in hemophilia? The blood doesn't clot.
Yeah, blood doesn't clot, yeah.
You die from bleeding out.
But there is a tablet in question also, you're saying.
Yes. And I want you to name the tablet.
And I should know of this tablet. Like, it's not something very niche.
If I ask you to name one random tablet and you're like, oh, Prazopress XL25, and I'm like, oh my God.
So it's not Dolo, right? He was not giving you Dolo.
I mean, Dolo's more famous than Prazopress. Like, if somebody in the podcast knows what's Prazopress, then they have BP problems. Hey, guys.
Okay. Something that would cure hemophilia.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
Oh.
Because Rasputin cured the hemophilia.
So they were giving him something which they thought might, but it wasn't working.
They gave him a tablet for something else, but that was doing havoc to his hemophilia.
Ah.
That's the interesting bit.
I see. So it was worsening the hemophilia, actually.
They did not realize it. Neither did Rasputin. Yeah.
Oh, so Rasputin just got lucky.
Maybe he divined it. He is the great mystic after all. But now we know in retrospect. I can give you one further clue.
Yes, please.
The doctors were brought in obviously because of the hemophilia, right? But there are also other problems. Okay? And that problem was migraine.
Oh, so something for migraine, something for headaches. Some sort of an aspirin then. Does aspirin make it worse?
That is the right answer. Salicylic acid, aspirin. Aspirin, although it cures your headache, is because it's a blood thinner.
I was just going to say it's a blood thinner, which will make it impossible for blood to clot.
Which is very dangerous for hemophiliacs, whose blood is already not able to clot. So because they were giving him aspirin for his headaches, his hemophilia was really bad. But when Rasputin comes in and says, no, stop everything, they obviously stop the aspirin as well. Right? Which helps him. So he starts getting a little better. Because the blood is not thin, it takes more oxygen. He's looking more hale and healthy. He's looking better, even though he still has a hemophilia. But they coddled him so that he doesn't get cuts or whatever. He doesn't bleed out. He'll start looking better. And then the Tsarina's like, oh my God, Rasputin is a genius. He's cured our boy. The dynasty will live on. It was because of aspirin. So if it hadn't been for the aspirin, Rasputin wouldn't have had his powers and USSR wouldn't have existed and Soviet wouldn't have become the huge powerhouse it is today.
Damn, that is very cool. Aspirin, you wouldn't even imagine that tiny tablet. But yeah, once you said it, my house memory kicked in.
Dr. House memory, yeah.
And I remember at some point in House, they talk about how it's a blood thinner.
Yeah.
And they do a bleeding time test. Oh, wow. I do remember some of my...
There you go.
Cool, very cool. Aspirin was killing the boy and Rasputin solved it.
Yeah.
I like it.
There once a certain man in Russia long ago. He was big and strong and his life was short. What a song.
You know, since I think we are at the end of the podcast, Berty, why don't you, if you have one more segue, one more question you want to give us something you learned recently, another piece of trivia that you came across, or if Rasputin reminds you of anything, we'll end with one more question from you.
Cool. Oh, we'll go the other way. So, we'll go with Bonium.
I love it. Yes. Okay.
Simple question. Adya, we are asking, which country is Bonium from?
Oh man, these simple questions are the most disarming sometimes.
So they're singing about Russians, singing about brown girls in the rain. They have Caribbean songs. You've seen them. You know how they look.
Why have I never asked myself where Boniem is from?
Where are they from?
I don't know. I'm thinking ABBA, and obviously ABBA is very different.
Oh, Swedish.
Yes, I was going to say Swedish only.
ABBA Swedish. Yeah.
No, probably not Swedish. Are they by any chance like something from that area? Are they from Norway, from Sweden, from Finland?
Okay, so what are you saying? You're saying it's not obvious. So what is the obvious wrong answer? Go for the Alan Davies answer.
Boniem, obviously, I mean, whenever it comes to pop culture, the first answer is always the US of A.
So they're not American.
UK.
They're not Brits.
Okay.
What does it sound like?
Does sound a little Caribbean to me.
They do sound Caribbean because they have oil drums and all that stuff. Brown girl in the rain, a holly holiday. And obviously they're doing No Woman No Cry, which is Bob Marlin, who's from Russia. Yeah, but they're not. They're not Caribbean.
Okay, so nothing in Central America, South America, nothing like that.
So yes, they do have Caribbean roots, but where were they all born? Where were they all formed? What was the primary language of communication for them?
So it has a very clear that Caribbean sound, a little disco Caribbean, but disco is more of the era, I guess.
Okay.
So okay, I'm gonna take a very broad guess. Europe is my first.
Cool. Europe. You've got the right continent.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Fine. Thank God.
They're one of the biggest bands in the world. You can go to Madurai and pick up a Boniem cassette. Every Christmas, their songs are playing all over the world. Come on, tell me what country they're from.
You know what? Not Italy, not Spain, not
I like
France.
Okay, fine.
Not Italy. I'm ruling out the big ones simply based off of accent.
Fine. Not Italy, not Spain, not France. Okay.
Also because these music, the Italian music or Spanish music or French music, something very specific comes to mind.
Yeah, but that's not the point. They sound Caribbean. They sound Caribbean.
I can't.
Yeah.
Are they like some very small country? I don't know. Are they Cyprus or something?
Nope, they're not. They're from a big country.
I'm gonna say they are, you know what, Polish.
Bigger
than Poland. Isn't Poland one of the biggest ones in mainland?
Go for it.
The only one I can think of which makes no sense. Germany
is the right answer. They're all Germans.
These are Germans singing. Oh God, I would not have gotten that ever if not for the size.
That is your random fact for the day. Boniem is a German band.
It's also interesting that I did not rule out Germany because German music doesn't bring anything specific to... I mean, I guess it does. But
oh man. I love the fact that.
I don't know why it's just funny, the idea that these were German musicians.
First line from Wikipedia. Boniem is a German reggae, funk and disco music group founded in 1974.
I got the reggae part, I got the disco part. I didn't get the German part.
So there's a guy called Frank Farian. Now if you see his photo, you'll know he's German. He's the guy who brought them together. He's the one, all the male vocal bits are by him. That dude who keeps dancing like he's got fits, he doesn't do anything. That microphone in his hand is switched off. It's all Frank Farian, the white German producer who's doing all the sound effects, all the singing.
Okay.
Oh, those Russians. That's Frank Farian. But obviously, nobody would believe if they looked at him. So he said, I'll stay behind. I'll get this guy to do all the dance moves and put him.
Interesting. German group. Wow.
I mean, you technically answered this, but you went through the entire European Union.
Yeah, I was going to go into some NATO allies then next. But great, I love it. Very nice. Germany. Wouldn't have guessed that. Love that question. Okay. And that brings us to our audience question. And I had asked at the beginning of this episode, where in the world were the first traces of wine found? Where is the first historical trace of wine found in the world? And because you mentioned Europe, I'm going to say, yeah, Europe or close enough, I guess.
Well, Georgia is very famous for wine. You were there. Tbilisi. They have wine running all around, and you apparently went there right now, so you must have read about it or learned it while you were there. So I'm going with Georgia.
Very well done. Yes, as the doc says, never answer the question, always play the player, and you played me very well. Well, it is Georgia. I was there. I was very surprised. Want to take a guess as to when it was found? How old is wine, or the first trace of wine?
I know Georgia is ancient. I know that for a fact, right? Easily into the BCs it'll go, right?
Yes. Give me any guess you might have.
Let me get an educated guess, not a stupid nonsense like 20,000 BC now. Because it has to be fermentation and it has to be in Europe. I will say 1432 BC.
You tell me specifically which month of the year also.
No, this is pre-Georgian, so we don't know. I know only Julian. Okay, no, what is it?
It's older than that. It's 6000 BCE.
No. So cool.
Georgia has apparently a continuous history of making wine for the last 8,000 years. And that to me is insane. And apparently there is a little bit of a friendly rivalry between Armenia and Georgia as to the history of wine and where it was first found. So the first known traces of wine were from Georgia, but the first known winery is from Armenia. And that was almost 2,000 years later. So I think Georgia is probably the clear winner. But hey, let Armenians also enjoy their history, which is amazing to me because Georgia is not a name that pops up when you talk about wine at all.
Yeah, the quizzing circles at least, or the wine circles.
Yeah, and everybody's talking about your French wines, your Italian wines, and if more New World, then your Napa Valley or Argentinian wines or Australian wines. Nobody's talking about Georgian wines, and I think they deserve a shout out. So shout out to Georgian wines.
There you go.
It was found near Tbilisi. And Tbilisi, the name itself, cute little etymology, not something I can ask as a trivia question because most people wouldn't know. But it's because of the hot springs. And Tbilisi, the word itself comes from Tpili. I'm assuming something like that in Old Georgian. And that means warm. So there were a lot of warm springs, sulfur baths, the hot water springs that were naturally occurring near Tbilisi. So when they moved the capital to Tbilisi, this was one of the reasons, and that's why it was called Tbilisi as well.
Very nice. Did not know that. Thank you very much.
I've been raving about it. You might hear it in the next few episodes. So if you do, excuse me, I sound like one of those people who came back from a holiday and can't stop talking about it.
I mean, go for it.
Oh my God, that country has so much to offer. So if you want to, that's a holiday getaway option.
Check out the oldest wine on the planet. Go for it.
Do that. All right. So as always, Bertie, do you have any pop culture recommendations for our audience?
Yes, there are two things I want to talk. I have a music album recommendation. This really nice book called Fascinating Footnotes from History. Really nice. Here's some blurbs. Did you know that Hitler took cocaine, that Stalin robbed a bank, that Charlie Chaplin's corpse was filched and held to ransom?
Ooh.
More such interesting facts from this book.
This is like a whole 100 episodes of Are You Quizzing Me right there?
Content.
Okay, very nice.
My music. Okay, I'll give you two. Those who like rock and metal, check out this album Retrograde by Sai Sanjit, who's a Chennai-based artist. Mallu artist who's living in Chennai. Fantastic. If you like prog, if you like dream theater, if you like that type of music, go for him. And if you're not into metal, you want more pop vibe, check out this Mumbai-based artist called Mali or Malvika Manoj. And she recently has released a YouTube full gig of Mali live at the G5A Warehouse. Came out about a month back. Love that. It's a great gig. It's like an hour of great music. So check out these both out. Mali live at the G5A Warehouse and Sai Sanjit Retrograde.
Very cool. I have been to the G5A Warehouse. That is the only familiar thing you said to me. But I will check out these artists. They sound pretty cool.
Yeah, both of them are signed to my production company, Original Dog. So I take care of both of the... so, good stuff.
Very cool. I had no idea you had a production company as well. Anything of yours that our audience might be able to catch whichever part of India they're in?
So if you're in Bangalore or if you're traveling to Bangalore, November 1st, which is a Saturday, and it's Kannada Rajasova. We are doing this fantastic gig at the Bangalore International Center. That is the BIC in Indiranagar. It's a free gig. It's open to all. No age. Everybody can come. And it's in the evening at 7 o'clock. And from 7 o'clock to 8:30, I and my band are doing 100 years of music in Bangalore. 1920 to 2020. And not only, it's going to be an audio visual presentation. So there's going to be a big screen. We're going to be showing you pictures and videos from the history of Bangalore. And then my band will live take you through history. Think of us like a moving TARDIS. So we'll show you, for example, 1920s and how was the scene in Britain, which was in Bangalore also at the same time. And then we'll play music that you would have heard if you were there. Then we'll show you 1930s and how the Carnatic Sabhas were developing in Malleshwaram, and we'll have a Carnatic performance. Then we'll go to the Kannada music scene, and all of it is live. We'll take you time traveling through music, and it's a free gig. Come off, everybody. And there's some fun medleys, and obviously I'm the narrator, so there'll be lots of fun facts and trivia. Come off to the BIC November 1st, evening 7 o'clock onwards.
Perfect. That is for all of our Bangalore friends of the podcast. Go check this out.
Yeah, I know a few people are traveling from Chennai for this, so yay.
So if you're from Chennai or from Mumbai or from Delhi and plan to go to Bangalore, these are the dates you should be going on and checking out Berty's gig. That sounds amazing. As always, whenever you mention your gigs, I'm always a little jealous of the fact that it's not happening in a place or at a time where I can attend it. But whenever the next one becomes even slightly feasible, I will go for it. So thank you so much for sharing that, Berty. My recommendation, my pop culture recommendation, I'll keep it very short. It's only one movie. I saw it recently. It is a very fun film. I felt like the last act kind of faltered, like they stretched out the climax a little too much. And for a thriller slasher genre film, you want to keep it punchy. So I just felt like that part left me hoping for a little bit more, or in this case, a little bit less. The name of the movie is The Blackening, and it is hilarious. It's a horror comedy. It's an all-black cast, and they are all, as a horror trope is there in a cabin in the woods, and there is somebody trying to kill them. So that's the whole setup. It's just so much fun. And especially if you're well versed with or have some knowledge of the black culture and the black community in the United States, this would be more fun. So if that's something that sounds interesting, you should check it out. The Blackening. It was a fun little film that I saw recently. Excuse the very last climax, but otherwise it's great. So that brings us to the end of the podcast, and a very quick shout out to all our listeners. Thank you so much for joining us week after week. We were on a small break, but hey, we're going to be back with episodes with guests and with Vineet and me also coming back soon. Thank you so much for joining us. As usual, find us on all your podcasting platforms. We are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, everywhere you listen to a podcast, you can find us. We are on YouTube. We are doing video podcasts as well, so that's an option you can switch to if you like it. There is some fun little bit of information that we show in our video podcasts, including visual cues. If you're listening to the audio, that's fine too. But if you want to see Berty with his hand actions showing you how plate tectonics work, then you need to look at the video podcast. So check out the video podcast as well. We are on Reddit at r/areyouquizzingme. Join us there. You can also join us on Instagram at areyouquizzingme. If you have any thoughts, any ideas, any suggestions, and especially any trivia that you'd like to share it with us at areyouquizzingme@gmail.com. There are a bunch of lovely fan emails and questions that all of you have sent that we are going to get to ASAP. Just waiting for Vineet to join us back on our regular programming, and you'll hear your question very soon. And as always, if you liked what you heard, please go recommend it to a friend. That's the best way for a podcast to grow. And I would love to hear from any of you if you have thoughts. So drop us some line. And Berty, before we sign off, any thoughts that you'd like to mention?
Oh, yes. Keep quizzing, stay curious.
Love that. All right. See you guys next week.
I'm so glad this is a video podcast so they can show this.